What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 164 of the Endless Endeavor podcast. Today's going to be a solo episode. I get a lot of good feedback when we do these, and I enjoy doing them from time to time. It just kind of changes up how the podcast is put out and how I have to schedule guests and travel. And you know what? Sometimes with the current events that are taking place, it's good to just sit down and discuss what I think the truth is. We discuss the problem, then we discuss the solution. And I enjoy these episodes, and I think you guys do too. There's a lot of bullshit going on. And when bullshit is happening, I think it's important to shine a spotlight on it. And it's important for people to realize the things that could potentially be coming down the pipe in the near future or the not too distant future. And the reason that it's important to talk about it, again, it's not to dwell on it. It's not to allow it to just be this cloud of doom and gloom that follows you around. But the reason it's important to think about some of these things that may potentially take place in our society is because it allows you to do dry runs in your mind. If this were to happen, what would I do? If that were to happen, what would I do? And what that really does is it allows you to have some hard lines that you can establish. Because if you don't think about how you're going to react to any given scenario, and then it just pops up and it's in front of your face one day, and you have to make a decision now, it's unlikely that that decision is going to be based on what is the most logical response. It's likely that that decision is probably going to be based on whatever emotions are surrounding that moment. So that's why it's important, guys. I say it very often. Stay informed, but not consumed. And it's a hard balance to walk because getting consumed by this shit is easy. And we have to remember they make getting consumed by this shit easy, so we stay in that triggered state. When you're in that triggered state, you know what you're not doing? All the shit that you should be doing. Being fit, being active, having positive interactions with human beings, building things, building your business, building your family, building your tribe, doing the things that bring you joy. And it's harder and harder to do when we give our life energy to the bullshit. And that is why I try and balance that as best I can. You guys have probably noticed my Instagram. Very, very rarely do I go on Instagram and post things that put out a negative vibration anymore. You know, every once in a while, like I recently just put out the meme of Biden, and he's eating ice cream, and it said something of the effects is, wouldn't it be nice to be able to eat ice cream as fast as you can and not have a brain freeze? And obviously it's implying it's because he doesn't have a brain. And that shit's funny, right? So every once in a while, it's just good humor. Or if something's important, I think we need to talk about it. And that's what we're going to do today. So current events, what's kind of been circulating around the internet these last couple of weeks is all the climate change stuff and the potential climate lockdowns. Now, you know, I've seen different clips here and there of Nicole Schwab, who's Klaus Schwab's daughter, where she supposedly said climate lockdowns are coming, whether you like it or not. I know Tim Kennedy shared that, and I shared it with just a little post in my story saying, you know, like, don't threaten me with a good time or something along those lines. And that's not tough guy talk, guys. That's the truth. And that's why we're talking about it today, because what truth are you going to follow when the government does come back with some bullshit? Now, I looked pretty extensively trying to find the clip in which she said that, and I couldn't. And there's a bunch of websites that are saying that she did, and then there's a bunch of websites saying that she didn't, and that it's right-wing conspiracy theory wackos pushing an agenda to discredit the WEF and the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization. And maybe there is some validity to that because I couldn't find the actual quote. But make no mistake, whether you can find that quote or not, we understand that locking us down and depriving us of our God-given rights and depriving us of our ability to pursue peace and happiness and the things that bring us joy, they've already done it. All right. They've done it once. It didn't work at all. And now they're talking about another fucking virus, which we'll get into later. Sears 25. But it's just a fictional made up virus. So we can have a discussion on how we would handle that. Very interesting. Because I remember another event called Event 201, which was almost identical. And we'll get into that later in the show. But what this woman supposedly said is that we will be experiencing climate lockdowns at some point. Now, the only fucking way that any single one of us, me and you, are able to be locked down for any fucking reason is if we consent to a lockdown. Would you guys ever just sit in your house and shut your business down and stop educating your children and stop pursuing the things that you need to do from day to day to ensure the success of your business, the success of your family, if the government told you to do that? Would you? Because it's very, very fucking easy to sit here and say, absolutely not. 100% absolutely not. And most of you guys, as you listen to this, are probably saying 100% absolutely not. Now, like I said, easy to say, but when the time comes, are you really willing to stand behind those words? Because here's the truth, guys. If you have made the overt decision to stand against government lockdowns or government orders or curfew or it's a martial law, however they want to fucking swing it this time. If you're willing to say, fuck you, I'm not doing it, what does that look like for you? Well, there's a good chance that saying, fuck you, I'm not doing what you tell me, comes with an inherent risk of violence. Are you willing to risk physical violence to stand up for what you believe to be the truth, for what you believe to be people continuously looking to trample on your freedoms and trample on your rights? Are you willing to do that? And that's a question that only you can ask yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself. But a lot more people will be reluctant to actually do that where the rubber meets the road. And how do we know that? Because look at fucking COVID. You had fucking biker dudes covered in tattoos with fucking, on Harley Davidsons riding around with masks on. You had these members of our society that people always looked at as, rugged and defiant, and everybody did what they were fucking told. And it was shocking to me. And it's shocking to me now when I look back and think about those times. Everybody did what they were fucking told. And it's to the point where I couldn't even fucking take it anymore. That's the whole reason that inspired me to make the video, which changed my whole fucking life, which made this podcast come into existence. It's because everywhere you look, everybody's just doing what they're fucking told. Even though the majority of you guys knew it was fucking bullshit. So why the fuck do people continue to do what they're told? Well, it goes back to what I said a couple minutes ago. It's because they don't want to meet fucking any type of resistance. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to upset the powers to be. Well, you know what happens, guys, if you don't upset the fucking powers to be? It just ensures that they continue to be in power. You got to fucking walk on eggshells to not upset the local government and the mayor and the governor and the police that are enforcing all their bullshit. I got to fucking trample lightly, or I got to tread lightly because I just don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers. You know what, guys? Fuck all that. Fuck all that. If any member of our government is doing something that you have deemed immoral or illegal or unethical, not only do you have to stand up, or I should say, not only should you stand up, but you have to stand up. You have to stand up. When I stood up against the bullshit publicly, I had people reach out to me and say, bro, you're nuts. You got kids. What are you doing? You're going to lose everything. What are you doing? You got kids. You got kids. If I heard that fucking argument that I got kids one more time, I was going to strangle somebody. Because the fact that you have kids is the exact reason you should stand the fuck up and say what you believe to be the truth and stand behind that truth and defend that truth. Because it ain't about you, motherfucker. Your kids' future depend on men like us standing up for what is right and what is ethical and what is moral. But because you motherfuckers attach your paycheck to the food you buy, to what your kids consume, you motherfuckers attach honor to doing what you're told so your kids get to eat. And that's the fucking lesson you teach your children. I'm not a man of honor. I'm not a man of principle. I'm not a man of conviction. I'm not a man of faith. I am a man that will do whatever the fuck I'm told so they allow you to continue to eat food. And it's the most cowardice fucking thing on planet Earth. Figure it the fuck out. Stand up for what you believe. Resist tyranny. Resist these fucking shills in the government that hate you. And if they fucking bring violence to you, so be it. But if everybody does it collectively, then we're fine. Mass non-compliance is what solves these problems without violence. But a lot of you motherfuckers out there don't have the balls to show that non-compliance because you're afraid they might come for you. They might hurt my business. They might arrest me. And you're just teaching the next generation that being a fucking coward is how you handle these situations. That's what you're teaching your fucking kids. There is no honor in that. Now, I get emails all the time, and I just received one after I posted that. I shared Tim Kennedy's thing about climate lockdowns. And his question is, bro, what are the police going to do this time? You think they'll side with the people, or do you think they'll side with the government? What do you think the profession of law enforcement will do? I hate that question. I shouldn't say I hate that question. That's a good question. I like that question. But I hate the conclusion that I come to when I think about that question. Because the truth is, my heart and who I am as a man and knowing a lot of people inside of the profession, my heart wants to say there's no way they will fucking side with government tyranny for round 2. Everybody knows it was all bullshit. Everybody knows that it was a fucking scam perpetuated by the elite. And that's not just, like when I was saying this shit 3 years ago, people were telling me, oh, you're a fucking conspiracy theorist and you're spreading misinformation. It's all out there now. Go ahead and send me your fucking apologies. I'll accept those emails. It's all out there now. Pfizer was withholding information. Fauci was withholding information. You remember when that motherfucker was being examined by Rand Paul? Senator, you do not know what you are talking about. You do not know what you're talking about, Senator. You remember all that shit? Well, now it's all out there. He did know all that stuff. All the emails on the inside between him and all his fucking cronies did acknowledge this is unlikely, something that something that wasn't created in a lab. They can look at the fucking structure of the molecules, people that are way fucking smarter than me, and understand that it didn't look like this was a naturally occurring virus. It looks like it was man-made. Oh, fuck, dude. Because when I said that, it's just a dumb, knuckle-dragging Neanderthal 3 years ago. You're not a doctor. You're not a virologist. You're not an epidemiologist. Just stick to jujitsu, dummy. Go lift weights and be a meathead, dummy. And I didn't understand the molecular structure of the coronavirus. They're right. But you know what I did understand? Is that they're trying to fucking tell me that this virus came from a bat falling in a cup of soup after it fucked a pangolin right outside of the Wuhan fucking lab that is studying these viruses. Right outside of it. Out of everywhere on planet Earth that it could just naturally occur because of a bat, it happened right outside of their fucking front door in a wet market. Are you fucking joking me? You motherfuckers just believe everything they tell you. And then when I say, hold on a second, that seems fucking very unlikely that it just happened to create itself right outside of their lab. Oh, you can't say, dude, what do you fucking know? Bleh, bleh. All you fucking retards that just regurgitate all their fucking bullshit. But more importantly than regurgitating their bullshit, you regurgitate. What you guys are doing is you're regurgitating the shit that just perpetuates their fucking power. And you're too dumb to realize that you yourself are the useful idiot in all of this. But what made us go down this tangent is that the conclusion that you have to come to when you're looking at things logically about how law enforcement will handle another government-sanctioned lockdown, until I'm proved otherwise, I think most cops will protect their paycheck and do what they're told, even when in their heart they don't agree with it. And guys, I have a lot of cops or a lot of friends that are cops. I have a lot of jiu-jitsu students that are cops. I know a lot of people in the profession, and I love those people. I've said it since the fucking very beginning of this show. The profession of law enforcement is filled with good people. But based on what I saw in 2020, a lot of those good people are unwilling to rock the boat. Because what they tell themselves is, it's just, how's one person going to change anything? Motherfucker, one person will change everything. And if everybody decides to be that one person, it ends today. And it goes back to what I said a minute ago. Running simulations in your mind. It's more important for those of you that are in a position of power, such as law enforcement. Those of you that hold the ability to affect change, you need to think about these things more than anyone else, because it's going to be your fucking actions that dictate the whole trajectory of our country once we're faced with this bullshit again. You know we're going to be faced with this bullshit again. You know we're going to. So how are you going to react this time? When I think about all the fucking cops that didn't do what they knew was morally and ethically correct, how do they feel now? I still haven't met the cop that thought all the mandates and the lockdowns were a good measure. So you're telling me you understood it was bullshit, but you just weren't willing to say that. Our fucking citizens deserve to hear and see our people in uniform standing up against corruption when corruption is perceived. And all you motherfuckers perceived corruption. All of you did. But very few people stood up against it. And the next time this happens, use the missteps that you took last time as an opportunity to empower you to make sure you don't do it again. Draw the hard line right now and say, when this comes back, when we're faced with these questions and these scenarios again in the future, I'm going to be damn sure that I end on the side of right. That's what you have to do. It's fucking necessary that you draw those lines right fucking now. Because I can tell you what the alternative is. A lot of fucking citizens have drawn those lines right fucking now. And it ain't going to be the same fucking scam as it was last time. We want accountability. We want the people that are trying to destroy this fucking country to be stopped and be held accountable. And if you want to fucking side with them, you're going to be on the wrong side of history. And that's going to be a fucking problem for you. Because they don't hold the power. They hold the perception of power. The fucking people hold the power. The beauty in all of this is the profession of law enforcement actually holds a substantial amount of power. And if you would just tell these political elitist cocksuckers no, guess what that would do? That would disempower them. Why are you guys too cowardly to fucking do that? If you're a chief of police or you're a fucking commander or you're a sheriff, grab your fucking balls. Walk across your kitchen and reach in that top fucking cabinet way in the back where your balls have been tucked away for the last fucking 10 years. Grab that fucking jar, pull your balls out and put them to fucking use once again. And say fucking no. It's actually not that hard. And it actually feels kind of fucking good. And maybe you find that you actually doing something honorable and serving your citizens in the way they fucking expect you to serve them, it actually feels good. So maybe you should fucking try it. But it doesn't need to be the commander or the sheriff. It's every fucking one of you guys that puts on the uniform. Stand up for what's right and be vocal. And don't be intimidated by fucking anyone. Is it worth being in the profession if you have to hold your tongue on things that are extremely important, on things that are going to fucking change the trajectory of our country's future, that are going to change the trajectory of your children's lives? Is it worth holding your fucking tongue for your paycheck? Only you can answer that question. But when I answer it, I'll fucking die first. I will happily go out in the woods and fucking starve to death. You know, it's interesting. A little segue. Because I say these things, and I know these things are truth. I know they're my truth. But there's some people that will still fall back on, it's easy. I got a fucking message the other day on Instagram. It's easy for you to say this stuff because you got to GoFundMe. So it made it really easy for you to stand up for your beliefs, and it made it really easy for you to transition into something new. Like 3 years later, I have been standing up for what I believe to be right with courage and honor my whole fucking adult life. You guys know my story. You listen to the show. 14 fucking deployments to war. Now, guess what? Was I wrong? Probably. Sure as hell doesn't seem like we needed to be fighting Saddam Hussein because of his weapons of mass destruction that never fucking existed. And I can own that. And I can say, I got manipulated and I was 21 years old. I get it. But I can also say, when I believe something is a mission that's based in honor and defending our country and standing up for what's right, I will fucking go to the other side of the world and risk my ass for that. Some of you motherfuckers won't risk your ass right here at home. And it's fucking sad. You know, and it's bizarre to me that the men that disagree with me or think I'm a fucking wacko, they always go back to that GoFundMe. You got to GoFundMe. You know, oh, no one's coming to save you. You got saved. You got to know. You got a GoFundMe. Oh, you want to become ungovernable? Yeah. Well, you know, it's easy to say that because you're rich now. And it's like, let's unpack that for a minute. Let's unpack it on the show. And I like to unpack it on the show because I don't fucking talk to idiots on Instagram. I can't do it. I can't do it because I know no logical conclusion has ever been drawn by two people that disagree with each other, DMing each other. It's just not how fucking reality works. But let's talk about some things about the GoFundMe. I didn't get a GoFundMe until I said, I'm not backing down. And if you want to fire me for this, you can fire me for this. And they said, okay, you're getting fired for it. So I went into it not knowing. I hadn't, oh, you planned the whole thing. Fucking please. If I planned the whole thing, you guys should be congratulating me. If you can plan a viral video followed by a GoFundMe that makes a decent amount of money, if you can orchestrate that, then good on you. But I promise you, that had nothing it didn't even cross my mind when I made the video. And so when I stood up for what I believed to be the truth, I had no idea what the future held, other than that I was going to stand up for what I believed to be the truth. Now, why would a GoFundMe follow that? Well, probably, dummy, because that message resonated with a lot of people. And a lot of people thought that was an honorable thing for a police officer in uniform to publicly stand up against the government narrative. And when they saw that same police officer get fired for what they interpreted as an honorable action, they threw him $5 or $10. The GoFundMe is public knowledge. You can go scroll through and see how many of the donations were $20 and under. People weren't breaking the bank. They said, I like this guy's message, and unfortunately he got fired, and I'm going to kick him a little money. Now, if you were in a similar situation like that, and someone did that for you, and it generated a decent amount of money, what would you do? Would you say, no, I can't have my message compromised by a small fraction of people that may think that I orchestrated the whole thing to make some money, therefore I will not accept it? Is that what you would do? I'm sure you would. And initially, we've talked about it on the show a lot, initially the GoFundMe was for legal defense. And I went to war with these guys for a while. And all the attorneys that promised me this and promised me that, when I was on the Laura Ingram, whatever fucking name is, the Ingram factor, the attorneys that were on there, like, we're going to do this and we're going to sue them for that. And this right was violated. And it was all good clips and good sound bites for nightly news. But off the air, those motherfuckers wouldn't really do anything for me. Oh, you know what, Greg? Well, the truth is, once we really looked into the case and dissected your department's policy, it really looks like they had all their I's dotted and all their T's are crossed. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like this is a very winnable case. Oh, well, it's a very stark contrast from what you said live on Fox News last night. But after 3 more firms assessed it and came back with that same assessment, that same conclusion, I started to realize, man, we're fucking $40,000 into this or whatever it is, and they're all telling me we're going to lose. So at what point do you cut your losses and do you walk away? And that's what we ended up doing after about, it's 8 months or so afterwards. We realized it doesn't look like we're going to win. So why do I want to piss all this money away on attorneys to just go lose the case? Because that's what they're telling me is going to happen. No attorney would take it on a percentage base. That right there should tell you like the probability of winning. So we moved on. And I decided to invest in some property. And I'm here to tell you guys, you think that if you think getting $450,000 is going to fucking make you rich forever, I promise you it goes a lot faster than you think, especially when you start getting into properties. And so the truth is, in today's life, my entire income is based around my jiu-jitsu academy and this podcast. And there's no shame in that. And did the GoFundMe assist creating some of those things? I'd be lying if I said it didn't. My gym was already up and running long before any of that shit happened. But was I able to do some different things and help the business grow? Of course, absolutely. This massive expansion that we did last year, I promise you, had nothing to do with the GoFundMe. It was all self-funded by the academy, because the academy has grown by leaps and fucking bounds since the video, since the podcast. Since I was able to create something that drew more eyes onto my business. And here's the other thing, guys. What if I did go build a business with it that made me fucking rich and happy? Is that something you should go cry about? It's bizarre that you would even fucking care. And so I don't think that it's something that I'll even need to address anymore, but every once in a while when those emails still come through, it just makes me think like, man, people are fucking nuts. I think the overwhelming majority of lottery winners, if they come into an unexpected sum of money, they're fucking broke in no time. You know, one guy said to me, you talk about like trying to be an entrepreneur and trying to grow your business, but everything was given to you. So fucking stop. Just stop. I promise you, if you think fucking running a successful jiu-jitsu academy with 210 students, that if you were to come here and talk to any fucking one of them and ask them how this place enriches their lives, any fucking one of them, I promise you can't do that no matter how much money I give you. This fucking place has been 8 years of fucking blood, sweat, and tears and staying on the grind until I figured out the formula to make jiu-jitsu a viable business. And that formula doesn't come with money. That formula comes from leadership. And that formula comes from understanding what to give people to enrich their lives. And jiu-jitsu is just the catalyst. Jiu-jitsu is just the mechanism in which we give that to people here. And there's different ways you can do it. But make no mistake, you can't buy this. Just like you can't buy your black belt. It's earned by staying on an arduous path, putting one foot in front of the other for fucking 20 years now. And now it's finally given back to me. And if anyone hears that story and thinks that it was just the easy path because I came into a sum of money, I challenge you to go do it. This is why people say that. People say that because when they look in the mirror, they're not happy with where they are. When they look in the mirror, they wished they could do something different with their life. And when they look in the mirror, they tell themselves, I can't. And when you tell yourself you can't, the next thing you tell yourself is every other person out there that had any element of success, there has to be a reason why they were able to do it. Oh, this guy walked away from law enforcement and now he's doing pretty good. That's just because he got a GoFundMe. That's why. Has nothing to do with any of the other things that I have contributed to building these businesses and these brands. Nothing to do with that. It has to do with, I got to GoFundMe. It makes it easy for people that believe that to stay shackled and not go out there and try and win and become a better version of themselves. It's an easy excuse for those people to tell themselves, so they never really have to put it out there and risk anything, and they can play it safe and while simultaneously being miserable, because that's where playing it safe gets you. Guaranteed fucking misery, hamster stuck in a wheel running in circles. Now I've also got an equal amount. Actually, I shouldn't even say equal amount. It's 95 to 5. 95% to 5%. People write me and say, hey bro, your message about doing this or doing that really resonated with me. I went out and I tried it and fuck, I'm down this much weight. I feel this much better. I'm starting this new business. Like, if you're in a place to emotionally receive a message to help you win and you fucking believe it and you put the right energy into it, you're going to go out there and you're going to fucking win. Because it's a mentality. That's what it is. It's a fucking mentality. And are you of the mentality of people that are trying to get better? Or are you of the mentality that are people that just want to fucking interject negativity into everything and drag those other people in your circle down? We say it very often, guys. People are doing one of two things. I heard someone say it the other day. It might have been Andy. People are either an anchor in your life or a propeller in your life. They propel you forward or they anchor you to where you're at. And the motherfuckers that are anchors, you know why they're doing that? Because they're anchored themselves. And if they see you drifting away towards greatness and they're stuck behind, they hate that. So they got to do everything in their power to make sure that you get stuck behind with them. And they're going to anchor their ass to you, and they're going to try and hold you back. And it's fucking sad, guys. It's fucking sad. But just remember, guys, a lot of good cops out there. A lot of good fucking, a lot of good cops that are doing hard jobs that are on our side. And I just hope they make that commitment to themselves to stay on our side when the times get tough, because that's inevitably going to happen. But regardless of what the police choose to do or not to do, just remember, like Glover always says, you are your own first responder. Just like I say, no one is coming to save you. And it's going to be imperative that you decide what actions to take or what actions to not take, and then act accordingly. It's super important that we think about these things now. You know, not to make this a fucking bash on law enforcement episode, because I love law enforcement. But the reality of the society that we currently occupy and that we currently live in is most police officers, they don't even have the capacity to do the job based on the political climate. At least here in Washington State, there's fucking meth heads everywhere. And if a young stud officer that wanted to be very proactive went out there and made 15 arrests a night of these meth heads that are out fucking doing smash and grabs and looting cars or prowling cars and doing all the shit that they do, the only thing that would happen is there'd be 15 guys out on bond the next morning and nothing would ever happen to them, and it wouldn't get prosecuted because the system is in place to fuck people like us. And so I was thinking about this a lot. On the 4th of July, so it's been close to a month now, and I haven't discussed this on the air at all. On the 4th of July, I realized these motherfuckers go on a criminal fucking crime spree because everybody's occupied. Everybody's doing stuff with their friends and their family. The night is loud and there's smoke and there's fireworks, and what a perfect night to go fucking break into people's stuff. And here in Lake Stevens, Washington, it was running rampant. I got a call later in the evening. It was still light out, but it stays light up here in Washington very late in the summer. So I think it was like 9 o'clock. Someone's climbing on your boat. Here we are again. Motherfucker climbing on my boat. And one of my friends happened to see it and stopped in and said, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" "Oh, I know the guy that lives here, and he's actually a friend of mine, and blah, 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 blah." And that's about as far as the story was able to stay together, because you don't fucking even know my name. And so he scared the dude off, and he's like, "Hey," and then he texted me, he's like, "Hey, there's a dude on your boat." I misread the text and thought it was happening in real time, and I drove here as fast as I could, with the full intentions of smashing every fucking tooth out of this dude's head, because I'm done. I'm fucking done. We're all done. All right? We got fucking drugs running rampant in our fucking cities. There's needles everywhere. There's homeless people everywhere. And you know what they're doing? They're fucking everybody over by stealing all of their shit. And nobody does anything about it. Had a cocksucker steal my fucking sauna a month ago. I had another motherfucker steal a bunch of shit off my boat that cost me $5,000 to repair it. And I fucking caught him. Wrote up a whole thing and submitted it to the fucking sheriff's office. And, "Oh, this looks good. Greg, your report has all the elements of probable cause in it. This is the best victim statement we've ever seen." "Yeah, no shit. Because I did the job for a long time and I know the elements that need to be met." But nothing ever happens. Nothing ever fucking happens. I have had multiple jiu-jitsu students and CrossFit clients that train here at my facilities have their fucking cars broken into during class. No one ever does anything. Later that night, that same night on the 4th of July, I'm at my papa's house and another friend's car gets broken into in his front lawn. Like, this is Lake Stevens. He lives on the lake in a beautiful neighborhood. And some motherfucker broke into a friend's car on his front lawn and within 20 minutes had spent $5,000 on her credit card at Fred Meyer's, which is right up the street. $5,000 in 20 minutes. And what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because now it's to the point now where we can't even protect our own shit. If I caught that cocksucker on my boat and smashed his fucking skull in, you coming for me next? Is that what you want to do? Now I'm the fucking bad guy? We're the bad guys if we protect our own stuff. I mean, you see those fucking videos of those fucking animals running into stores and just looting them? San Francisco, Los Angeles, all the places where Gavin Newsom is just turning them into a utopia. And nobody does anything. Man, I'll fuck you up if I see you doing that in my city. I see you fucking run out of someone's small business with a fucking bag full of their shit. I'm going to fuck you up. Because that's what men do when you fuck with our societies and you fuck with our hometowns. That's what we should be doing. And then they'll probably come after me. And you know what? You come after me, fuck you too. I'm done with this shit. I've tried to rely on the powers that be that are in position to take care of me and my family and my belongings, and you fucking fail over and over and over. So when I take things into my own fucking hands, don't act surprised, but don't fucking come for me either, because you can't do your fucking job. And you know that's the fucking truth. The next meth head that steals from me is going to have his fucking face smashed in. And if you come and try and arrest me for that, then fucking plan on killing me. Because I don't want to be part of your bullshit. You can't even protect your own shit. Why do you think they would do that, guys? Why do you think they would want to castrate us all and not allow us to fucking protect our own stuff? Why do you think they would do that? It's the systematic fucking destruction of America, making strong male figures in society nothing more than toothless tigers. They don't want us to be fucking tough, resilient motherfuckers that fucking put a stop to all the bullshit. They don't want us to be that. Just like that fucking song that came out talking about fucking not in my town or not in a small town. And all the fucking, everyone's trying to cancel him. You know, you can't say that. That's racist. That's this, that's that. And the thing is, it's like, guys, try that in a small town by Jason Aldean. You can't even fucking publicly say, don't bring your bullshit to my town without being canceled. You know? All the powers to be, all the media networks. Hey, we don't support that message. It's inspiring violence and it's inspiring racism. No, you dumb motherfucker. You know what it's doing? It's inspiring men to say, enough. And if enough of you fucking pussies would say, enough, this shit's over. That's it. Done. I do not comply. I do not agree. And I'm going to do things my way now. I promise you. I fucking promise you. You think I'm full of shit? Come and try it. I fucking promise you. You come to my gym with a brick to throw through my window to show some kind of political, you're upset about something that happened in society, and the way that you're going to express that anger that you have is, I'm going to go smash a small business. I fucking promise you. And fucking come try it if you think I'm lying. Come to my fucking gym, Electric North Jiu-Jitsu in Lake Stevens, Washington, when I'm teaching a 6 p.m. class, and throw a fucking brick through my window and see what the fuck happens to you. I will blow your fucking face off. And the next fucking person that comes and thinks they're going to do something, same thing. And then if you think you're going to come and arrest me for fucking shooting a dude that's trying to destroy my livelihood, come and fucking do it, dude. Or you could be on the side of fucking right and say, you know what? The profession of law enforcement has had our fucking hands tied to the point where what we are now seeing as citizens defending their own selves and their own families and their own businesses. And you know what? We support that. You could fucking do that too. But we'll see. Yeah, guys, a lot of bullshit going on. And that's why I wanted to do this episode. You know? I had Sean on, it's been 2 weeks ago now. And Sean Baker on the carnivore diet. And it's funny how people, another guy that I follow, Mike Dulce from Dulce Diet. He was a guy that really helped a lot of UFC fighters make weight. That was like his profession. And I don't remember what level of fighter he actually was himself. But man, him and Sean, I guess we're kind of like having a little internet argument because Sean is a believer in the carnivore diet. And guys, if you listen to the episode with Sean, he'll tell you himself. He doesn't think, if you like eating a little bit of fruit, if you incorporate some blueberries or some like apples in my case, because I ate a lot of steak and apples, he says, if you can do that and you look good and you feel good, I'll never tell people not to do that. And man, it's weird how people that are on the same team for the most part are splitting hairs based on what we want to call a diet, right? Dude, if you eat primarily meat and you want to call it a carnivore diet and you feel good on it, fucking awesome. If you want to call it fucking meat and fruit and you're doing good on it, awesome. But the thing is, you got like Mike and Sean, and I don't know Mike personally, but I think he seems like a cool guy based on following him. Man, it's the same message. They're really saying the same message. Cut out the bullshit and fucking see how much better you feel. And Sean's the first to say that. He's like, when you go on carnivore, one byproduct of being on strict carnivore is you don't get to eat pizza and you don't get to drink soda and you don't get to eat fucking snacks. Like you're not eating Doritos on carnivore. So you have to cut out everything that's bullshit. And now what you're eating primarily, or not primarily, like wholeheartedly, is a full, whole food source. And that's actually healthy and nutritious. That's not to say that eating other things that are a natural whole food source are necessarily bad for you. And so there's a lot of nuances. But the weird thing is, it's just like everything. Like the right, we always eat our own. The 2A community always eats their own. And seeing it on nutrition is fucking weird because, guys, we all know what the answer is. It's move your body and eat healthy foods. Now you want to fucking dissect that and go into an exact macro split or whatever, then yeah, obviously at the highest level of athletics and human performance, we can go into the fucking weeds on science and see what really works for optimal performance. But most Americans don't need optimal performance. Most Americans need a path to get rid of their type 2 diabetes. That's what they need. They need a path to lose 40 fucking pounds or 100 pounds. Interesting point on that is one of my jiu-jitsu students came to me the other day and he's like, he was trying to convince his stepdad to do jiu-jitsu. He's like, you need to be here for a multitude of reasons. You're overweight, you're unhappy, you're not treating your body well. This place will give you the tools to become a better version of yourself. And you know what he was told yesterday? Yeah, I looked into that and he decided to get on diet pills as a first step. Diet pills. The fuck are we talking about? Now, are there diet pills? It used to be like a hydroxycut and ephedra. Yeah. Well, there's Ozempic now. And guys, like there's Thiodrive and Redline and all these different things. But let's talk about the validity of any of these metabolic boosters or fat burners. It's this much caffeine and this much green tea extract. And you know what? You know who's should be worried about taking those? Someone that's trying to get down to 5% body fat. Like, hey, I'm trying to do a show. or I'm trying to cut weight for a fight. Like I'm trying to get literally as lean as I fucking can for a specific purpose. And guys, I'm not against using drugs to get your body where you want it to be. I've been on TRT for a long time. That's using an anabolic steroid. Make no mistake. People want to talk about being on steroids or being on TRT. It's the same thing. The only difference is a lot of people that use steroids will do 8 to 12 week cycles of massive amounts of steroids. And they'll put massive amounts of weight on. And then after that, they have to do what's called PCT, post-cycle therapy, to get their hormones back in check, to make their balls start working again. And then they get off of steroids. Where what TRT is a low, consistent dose of an anabolic steroid, testosterone. And it's bizarre that people they don't make that distinguishment. And so put whatever you want into your body. I don't care. If it makes you feel good, if it makes you perform well, even if it has side effects, if you can look at the side effects and say, I'm willing to accept these to make it to here, right? It's your body. Do what you want to it. But if you're 100 pounds overweight and you think getting on diet pills is the answer, it's because you've fallen victim to the fucking pharmaceutical company commercials that are fucking bombarding you every night while you're laying in bed watching television. The answer to the path, the answer to the start of the journey of losing 100 pounds has nothing to do with Ozempic. But it says that it slows down digestion and it curbs food cravings. You know what else curbs food cravings? Fucking discipline. Hey, I'm not going to eat that. Set some fucking guidelines for yourself. Right now, I'm on an 8-week program. And I'm on this 8-week program because I want to get fucking shredded. And steak and apples got me shredded last summer. But I also like to challenge myself. I also like to try new things. I also like to see if there is a method where I can get extremely lean while maybe feeling a little better this time. And so like life is a journey. Like let's experiment. So I hired a professional. He's a bodybuilding nutritionist that helps people get ready for show prep. And he said, what do you want? And I said, I want to get down to 5% body fat. Asked me some basic questions on like my routine, my diet, what foods I prefer, blah, blah, blah. Then he wrote out a program for me specifically geared towards me. And it is a high carb day followed by a low carb day. On the high carb days, he wants me weight training, extremely hard, lifting heavy. And on the low carb days, I'm doing jiu-jitsu or walking. You hear that, guys? Walking. Take a note on that because it's one of the biggest keys to overall health. And so I'm cycling back and forth between 1,900 calories on my low day and 2,400 on my high day. And guys, I feel fucking great because on the high day, I get to have 2 meals that have over 200 grams of rice. Like I haven't eaten that amount of carbohydrates in as long as I can remember. I get 100 grams of pineapple, 40 grams of oats, and every bite of food is measured and every bite of food is accounted for in my macro split and my overall caloric intake. I've always hated measuring food. I've always hated it. That's why I'm doing it. Because I want to try something that is new, that comes with a little bit of a challenge. I find fucking irritating because I have to get up and I have to food prep. But guess what? I'm seeing fucking results. And it's only week 3. So guess what? There's something to it, guys. But the reason I bring this up is because I want people to realize that the initial steps of your journey towards fitness have nothing to fucking do with Ozempic. Cut out all the bullshit. Start drinking water. Eat fruits, vegetables, and natural whole animal protein sources. Fish, chicken, steak, shellfish, whole animal proteins. Eat plants and animals, guys. Very fucking simple. Very simple. Eat plants and animals and get up and walk for 45 minutes every morning. You do those two things, you are exponentially going to increase your chances of long-term sustainable success, as opposed to, I'm going to take a drug for 6 weeks so it curbs my appetite and then I'm going to lose this much weight. You know, the fucking, and here's the crazy thing. Like, man, the fucking Ozempic shit, like, it's now causing stomach paralysis. What the fuck are we even talking about? That's one step past or one step below people that actually cut their stomach. People cut their stomach in half because they don't want to be disciplined. Hey, Greg, do you want to just choose not to eat that pizza today? Or do you want me to cut your stomach in half and sew it shut to ensure that you don't eat that pizza? And a lot of motherfuckers choose cut my stomach in half. Have you lost your fucking mind? You have the ability to decide exactly what goes into your stomach, regardless of what fucking size it is. But nope, I'll take surgery, I'll take medication, I'll take anything over personal excellence and discipline. And you're falling right into their fucking plan of the continuous, intentional destruction of America, making sure you are fat, weak, compliant, weakling fucking piece of shit. Because you just can't say no to that pizza. Shame on you, especially if you're a fucking man, especially if you're a head of household, and especially if you have a fucking family. Your fucking children are looking to you for guidance, and you can't even say no to pizza, and you're 100 pounds overweight. And now I have stomach paralysis because I took Ozempic. And you know what it does? Ozempic slows down the digestion process. And it slows it down so much, it causes a condition called gastroparesis. And it actually allows the food to fucking harden and form masses and blockages in your intestines. All because you just don't want to set that fucking pizza down. Like, I just don't understand how this is reality, how we are occupying the same fucking planet with these people who eat themselves to death when all the answers are right in fucking front of you and no one is willing to do it. And now our fucking society is what? 65 or 70% obese? You can't be defiant if you're obese. You can't be strong if you're obese. You can't be the motherfucker that the government fears if you were obese. So fall into their fucking plan, eat all their bullshit, make yourself the most weak, fat, pussy, compliant fucking man on planet Earth, and be proud of yourself. All because you don't want to set the pizza down and you don't want to show up to fucking practice. I just want to take my Ozempic pills. Fucking retards, dude. It's infuriating. It's insane that this fucking country that so much of us have given so much for, it's just the absolute fucking antithesis of everything that we stand for, everything that we fought for. And these people just continuously choose to purposefully be weaklings. If that's fucking you, it's time to change, and it's time to change now. You know what's time to change now? Because more shit's coming. And guys, unlike the fucking major media outlets that fearmonger to keep people in a triggered state and fucking cause the intentional destruction of America, guys like myself and Andy Frisella, we fearmonger on the other side. Hey, you better do this because this is coming. If you take the time now to prepare for the bullshit, guess what? You'll be free. You'll be free now and you'll be free then. Because you cannot be controlled. You can be strong, capable, and defiant. But if you don't take that fucking step now, you'll be led to the fucking slaughter like a cattle. And you're not going to do a goddamn thing about it. You think you're going to show courage then? You haven't showed discipline or courage at any time in your life. But when it's time to get on the fucking cattle trucks That's where you're going to stand up and suddenly be a man. Yeah, fucking right. You know that they just fucking released that video of the Sears 25 virus. You guys heard about this? It's basically another Event 201 video where they talk about a new virus coming out. And are they going to release another virus that fucks people up? Don't put it past them. Because what they will do is they'll say, oh, everyone needs a lockdown. And then guys like me will say, go fuck yourself. And then when people start dying, they're going to say, see, it's guys like him that are trying to stop us from staying home and staying safe. We have to get those guys. It's going to be a big orchestrated fucking scam, just like the last one, regardless of how deadly or non-deadly it is. Because these people don't fucking care about us. But they just released this video. And listen to this shit. I mean, it's a 9-minute video. I'm not going to play the whole thing. But it's kind of crazy how eerily similar it is to the Event 201 stuff. So just so we're clear, this video is called Catastrophic Contagion. And you can go to that website, Catastrophic Contagion, a global challenge exercise. And it's being put out as an exercise, just like they always do. A fictional tabletop exercise in partnership with the WHO and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. All the same players. They fucking tell us what they're going to do. But listen to this shit.
SARS-25 is spreading within 50 countries. The total number of cases to date is estimated at 100,000, with over 1,300 deaths. Many of the dead are children.
Our goal today is to highlight some of the specific challenges that we as a global community can face in a future pandemic. Catastrophic Contagion is a policy-focused tabletop aimed at national leaders. The scenario is meant to represent the types of challenges that we may face and not be a prediction of any specific event. So our scenario, which is set in 2025, supposes that an international network called the Pandemic Corps has been established in collaboration with WHO and with participation by many countries. And with that, the exercise begins.
I want to thank you all for coming on short notice. As you know, the World Health Organization is receiving urgent requests for guidance regarding the new enterovirus outbreak in Latin America.
Early projections suggest that a severe pandemic is possible if the epidemic is not quickly contained.
A newly developed PCR-based diagnostic is already in use at national public health laboratories in both countries under emergency authorization. But testing capacity remains severely limited.
Because community transmission is currently limited to these two countries, some experts believe containment is still possible.
So the question for our first discussion here in this group is, should WHO recommend countries implement robust travel restrictions for Nueva Esperanza and San Rafael? And should WHO recommend closing schools in the affected areas of those countries?
So it goes on for another 8 minutes, guys. But do you hear what they just said? Closing schools in areas of those countries, lockdowns. Like, I don't think that the last couple of years could have shown how ineffective and inefficient and how much bullshit the lockdowns were. But even in their little fucking scenario that they're running, the first question we should ask is, do we lock people down again? And do we shut down schools again? And they're just keeping this fresh in our mind. And, Tyler Stanaway talks about this a lot, how these people, it's almost like they take a little bit of pride in letting you know, like giving you little tidbits, letting you peel back the curtain and see just enough to what's going on. And then they go ahead and do it. And it's their way of saying, fuck you, we're going to do whatever we want. That's their way of saying, bitch, you're not going to do anything about it. Because here's the reality, guys. The people that are in power right now that are pushing all of this stuff, you think they're just going to miraculously step down one day and say, oh, you know what? We were wrong. Or, you know what? The wrong people got voted into power and we're not quite as, we don't have the same amount of pull that we had under this or that administration. Like, guys, if it reaches a point where these people are outed, they're going to go into Andy Frisella's wood chipper. There's going to be immediate accountability. That's how we know beyond the shadow of a doubt that they will not step down. They will not relinquish power. They won't fucking ever back down on their fucking mandates, because their power that they hold right now, it ensures that they have to continuously do this stuff. Because if they lose the power, accountability is next. And accountability, their heads are going to be lining the streets on pikes. So these motherfuckers don't have an option. And we know that. So yeah, I don't know if that was enough Crazy Anderson for you guys. I tried to be pretty mellow today. Again, guys, professional law enforcement, I love and support many, many, many of you guys. The reason I go hard on you sometimes is the same reason I go hard on my children, is because where the rubber meets the road and you are confronted with a difficult and maybe dangerous decision, it's important that you guys are on the right side of history, because our communities need you guys to be on the right side of history. If you guys side with the people, the next time this shit pops up, man, everybody's free. Everybody's good. It's a non-issue. It's a non-factor. So think about these things now. Game plan them now. We've talked about that on the show before in the military. We called it war gaming. War game these things now in your mind and in your heart. Discuss it with your family and your loved ones, and have a place where you know you can comfortably stand on your fucking 2 feet and draw that hard line, and don't be pushed back over it in any circumstance, fucking period. All right? The other thing that each and every one of us need to do is find the way to embolden and strengthen our communities. I've talked about it plenty on the show. I've done that with jiu-jitsu, and I've seen so many of these young kids really come alive and grow into themselves on the mats, going from timid, weak, frail minds, frail bodies, to in a year, they're down to fight whoever. And that's a mindset. And it's something that you have to grow into. That's not something that you can just create one day. It's a long, arduous path to get there. And so how can you enrich the people in your community? What can you do to ensure that collectively we are better and we are stronger? And guys, it doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be a fucking community service or a fucking a nonprofit. Like, go out there and do something that emboldens people and is financially successful for you. You know, Tyler Stanaway, who you guys are very familiar with, he just opened what he's calling Forest School out on his ranch, where he's taking groups of kids, and it's like a day camp. I forget what the rates are, but it's a paid camp to attend. And during the day, your kid goes out there and learns how to build shelters, how to chop down a tree, how to fucking make a spear, and like all these little things that, like, you know, a lot of society may think is silly, but you know what? That's what we were all doing as kids, going out in the forest and making forts and making spears. And now kids aren't doing that stuff anymore. So what Tyler's decided to do is use his lot of land to not only create something that enriches the children of his community, but also produces a little excess income to help everybody who's involved win. And it's fucking smart. If you're interested in that and you're local, I know he lives in Stanwood, which is just north of Lake Stevens, but check that out. All the kids that have went there have been very fucking happy with it, and their parents have been happy with it too. So it's a cool little thing that you could go out, support a fucking good dude, and then have your kids fucking actually derive something of value from it as well. So that's all I got today, guys. Hour and 10. That's what solo casts cap out at. I fucking appreciate you guys. And If you want to come and talk shit to me for my GoFundMe, 3910 127th Drive Northeast, Lake Stevens, Washington. Electric Jiu-Jitsu. We're open 7 days a week. Please come and tell me what a fucking piece of shit I am to my face. Or better yet, throw that brick through my front window and we'll fucking see what happens.